A Saturday morning discussion, let alone on a YCS weekend. What is up, guys? I'm Conforti here. So yesterday, the internet decided that we wanted to spit out probably the most ridiculous card that we have actually seen in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In years, and it is Lightning Storm. So we're going to have a nice little kickback discussion about this, because I've read some pretty bad opinions about what people think about this card. Let's dig on into this bad boy, shall we? Lightning Storm is the ultimate going second in technology. Well, next to Dark Roller, No More, and Nibiru. But, okay, small things here. So, Lightning Storm, you can only activate a card with this card's name once per turn. If you control no face-up cards, activate one of these effects. Destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls, or destroy all spell or trap cards your opponent controls. Well, it's not a quick play, so negs on that. Yeah, right. Nobody really cares about that. What we actually have here is we have a spell card that allows you to go bada bing, bada boom, ladies and gentlemen. You get to clear a back row or a front row, depending on the situation that you find yourself in. Now, why is this a game changer? Well, this is probably the first time that the TCG has had to deal with Heavy Storm / Feather Duster in years. Alright, our game has pretty much developed itself to the point that back row decks can actually function at this point, which is extremely good for the game, by the way. When Heavy Storm exists, or have Harpy's Feather Duster, yes, I hear the argument of, well, back row decks shouldn't exist. Setting 5 is bad for the game. Okay, cool. You're entitled, to your opinion, but that's besides the point here. Having a card like this come straight into the game as a 3-of is a bit worrisome. But we don't have to deal with this until our January / February release. So that's the good news there. I won't have to deal with Lightning Storm or Raigeki Storm until, we actually get to the point of that. So that's the good news. Now, I've read comments from people. I don't know if people are just generally uneducated on the flow of the game or things like that, but some people were like, oh, this card is terrible. Why would you ever play this? This is horrible. Having to control no face-up cards on the field to activate this is horrible. Gnome Material called, by the way, and said that same trash opinion got you in trouble when we were talking about Gnome last time. Oh, the card's terrible. It's never going to see play. Yeah, and we had Gnome being cited in one of the worst formats, or at least at one of the worst combo points in the format. And it worked out for Nomi, by the way. Card says can't control any cards. But, I digress. Going second cards are terrible for the game, guys. Ugh. Oh, man. Sarcasm aside, this card fundamentally is going to change the way that we're going to be looking at the game. Okay, so besides the terrible comments I've been reading for people that just generally don't understand this is a going second card, you have, I guess people just aren't going to know how to deal with this. I always bring up the example of going to a regional, summoning Falsodyna, Pachycephalo, and having opponents read the card because they've never seen it before. You have to remember, there's a new generation of players in this game that have never been Feather Dustered, that have never been Heavy Stormed. And, sometimes these heavy combo decks, they can be good for, developments of the format. They teach you the in and outs. But, what happens when we get down to a simpler game state that, doesn't have to deal with stuff like that? I don't know. You just won't ever understand the feeling until you're Heavy Stormed for 5. So, now, influxes to deal with this card. I've already heard people talking about buying out Starlight Road. We might get Solemn Judgment back at 3 as kind of a thing to kind of counteract this card. We'll have to wait and see about that, but be aware. God, I can't even believe I'm talking about Starlight Road right now. Initially, when this card came out, there were 4 posts that were like, oh, you better go get your Starlight Roads. Raigeki's running around. at 1. We've got Kaiju Slumbers running around. We've got Dark Holes running around. And we talk about there are no really heavy back row decks in the format right now. I guess Sky Striker. But if I can play 3 of this, and Striker starts siding in things like Starlight Road to prevent this, I just kind of feel like just hoping for Judgment to move to a much higher number by the time that this comes out just seems like a much better choice than actually trying to play Starlight Road with this. But I digress. Maybe Starlight Road will get bought out over the next couple of days. Maybe players will start looking into this. I think that's just a hilarious point to this video that people were talking about. Oh man, one extremity is like, oh, this card's terrible, it's never going to see play. And you got the other half over here that is just too worried about it. Like, oh, the conspiracy theorist. They're like, I just bought 100 Starlight Roads, the card's going to go up. No, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think for the most part, we're going a little bit too crazy for that. Now, that's not to say that so that's all the community stuff. Okay. So, in terms of development for this card, I actually find this card particularly interesting because we've never had a dual-sided card that gives you 2 good effects. So, if I'm main decking this and I want this card, I'm main decking it for the purpose clear off back row going second. Well, what if my opponent doesn't go through back row, they brick, for example, and I want to clear off their monsters instead? You got that. Alright, the fact that this card has dual utility is the thing that's going to break it. We've seen simpler cards like Heavy Storm. Actually, Heavy Storm would probably have been pushed to the side for this format, considering Crescendos are everywhere back row. Probably a few people would have been meaning it. I think a few people would have been citing it. You can argue with me in the comments section about the validity of that statement, but I definitely think that back row removal, especially in this format, probably would have been cited. But this is one of those cards, I'm definitely predicting that this will be cited in some degree, probably in maximum numbers, because it's a front row wipe and it's a back row wipe. You need to clear a board, it's fine. Yes, I know Dingirsu exists at this point in time. Slapping this on the table is not necessarily the best thing in the Orcust matchup. It's why I bring up the point about citing it. We're not going to know where our format is going in literally 4 months to make an accurate call on this, but this is going to be one of the best side deck cards that we've seen in the game's history, guaranteed. One of the best going second cards in the game's history, all wrapped up right here. And now I can definitely tell you, unlike Dark Ruler No More, I definitely think that this is going to see some play. You have to remember, Dark Ruler No More, I think, is one of those cards that's going to be better for it depends on the format, the diversity, how broken it is. Because Yu-Gi-Oh's been in this build-a-board fantasy land for quite some time. So it's actually kind of nice to see a change of pace as we start to shake up the format, making actual cards that, allow going second. Because going first has been such a troublesome thing. 8 negates. Shout out to Trip. 8 negates unplayable. Your opponent auto loses. Oh, I got sphere moded. Guess I lose the combo. I don't know. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Gotta love it. So, my final comment here on this card is, yes, this card is bonkers. Yes, this card will be a secret rare. To those of you that are like, it won't see play. There's no way. This card is terrible. I want to know what led you to that conclusion. I actually wish I was lying about these things. I'm just going to chalk it up to these people are just trolling and they're trying to be bad at the game for clickbait. That's what I'm getting out of this. But every Yu-Gi tuber I've seen, Jobber, Simo, we had John even talk about this, even on their feeds, they're like, oh my god, this card's good. Yes, it's fantastic. Enjoy this card, changing the pace of the game for quite some time. Ignition Assault we should have spoilers coming out rest of the week. The set officially drops. Is it October 12th in Japan? Like I said, that will be our February set with all intents and purposes. So if we're seeing crazy stuff like this, I actually expect there to be a little bit more right around the corner, at least in terms of development for the format. So when you get lightning stormed in 4 months, you can go ahead and complain back in October when you saw this coming. Or you just be one of those conspiracy theorists that just sells out right away because they don't want to deal with this. Yeah, those people actually exist. It's actually hilarious. What do you guys think about this card? Please comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Like I said, I always read my comments, and I cry every time. Alright guys, peace out. Good luck at the YCS, everybody. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.